Hello, today is Thursday, September 30th. I'm Tracy Anderson, and let's look at some markets. So first up, we'll look at beef, and the overall market continues to move lower. We may see the bottom of this market early, mid-October, but this will be the low of the season. I'm still going to exempt ribeyes from this good news. They actually are slightly lower, but nothing compared to the rest of the beef complex. Look for grinds to move lower, top rounds, chucks. Take advantage of these in the short term. Beef harvest was a respectable 641,000 head compared to the previous week's 660,000 head. Keeping up this volume will help keep this market well supplied and moving lower. Now, with that good news, let's look to pork and some very different numbers. The most recent cold storage report has pork inventories 19% below the 5-year average. Less product in the freezer means more demand on the fresh product, and the market is reacting to this. Bellies closed at $193, up $30 from last week's $163. I do think we will see $200 bellies again, and soon. Hams were up strongly, butts and loins up too. Still, fresh product does seem to be meeting demand. Ribs will continue to be a labor challenge. Okay, looking at chicken, and that cold storage report this time showed chicken in the freezer down 20% to last year and 17% to the 5-year average. Expect breast meat to continue to move higher. Production is pretty steady, which keeps up with fresh demand, but it's not sufficient to get us out of this processed hell. Okay, we're going to look at dairy, and last week's dairy report reporting on the reduction of the dairy herd has had a quick impact. Through Thursday this week, barrels up 17, block is up 15, butter is up 1. I'm thinking this is a bit of a rash overreaction, moving way too high, way too quickly. I don't think this is the time to jump into this market. Usually rallies like this do not hold their gains long. So let's see what happens, but I'm not ready to jump in. Finally, a look at grains, and the corn harvest is almost done. Cash corn this week closed at $5.54, up from last week's $5.45. Ending corn supplies for last year are coming in a bit better than expected. A bit of sandbagging, perhaps? I'm thinking we should see corn in the $4.50 to $5.50 range through this year. That's not unreasonable, and while historically still elevated, is much better than we've seen this year. But we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. Now, soy stays to be just a mess. It's all just rumor. We don't really know anything. But recent moves up all are indicating that demand is going to increase. I'm still not ready to buy. Let's continue the same recommendation as last week. Buy what you need. I still think this market's going to move lower. And finally, we're going to look at wheat, and it's up again this week. Poor crops internationally, both Russia and Canada, and you will see that continue to move higher. Okay? Thanks for listening. I'm done. We'll do it again next week.